Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. Spotter said it was clear. It wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened, and then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find about until it was too late. It's a shame. Love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
All right, folks, welcome back to Meet Me at Applebee's, your number one unrefined motorsports podcast. It's Brian here with Rob and Ashley. We got Bristol to talk about this week. There's so much to talk about.
Yes.
Folks, how are we doing this week?
I'm doing, excuse me, so I cleared my throat before the show and made it worse. I'm doing pretty good. I just got back from Arkansas a couple days ago. It took me a little while to get here, but I'm back home in the bar and I can swear freely and prance and dance as I please. So that's pretty exciting. How you doing, True Love?
That's good. You washed out your shrimp jar and put it back up on the shelf?
Yeah, it took a while to wipe all the grease out of it, but it's back on the shelf and back in rotation, so my mom's pleased with that.
Oh, that's good.
Also, thanks to my mom and dad for such a lovely time out in Arkansas. It was nice. It was a nice time. And the weather was pretty good, not too humid. I did that's the nice thing about being kind of down south, or at least out of the Northeast, that if you wear dirt late model shirts out in public, someone's going to stop and talk to you. So I got to talk a lot of racing with the locals, which was not something I'm used to, but it was fucking fun. So I don't remember anybody's names I met, but it was nice to chill with you.
That's good. Made you some friends.
Yes. Bristol. We have
Bristol?
Here comes Bristol.
Let's see, Bristol. I watched maybe 5 laps of the ARCA race, so I don't know what the hell happened. I think in the 2 minutes I watched, I saw Bobby Dale Earnhardt crash, which I forgot that guy even existed.
Yeah.
What is his relation to the Earnhardt family?
He is Carrie's son.
Oh, okay. All right, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I turned that off after about 5 minutes, and I flipped over to Thunder Road on Flow and was watching Minivans race, which was exponentially better.
I'm sure it was. I did also see Cletus wreck, too, so that was the other thing I saw. But that was it.
Yeah, Cletus started 17th and finished 17th, so he had a flat. Bobby Dale brought out 2 cautions.
Perfect. More Jeffrey than Jeffrey.
I heard that there was a guy that went a lap down within 3 laps of the race starting. So, and they actually parked him because I think he was like 5 seconds off the pace or whatever. So, that's good. That's always good.
Yeah, I'm glad we do that and not bring the modifieds there anymore. I love that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Brent Cruz led every lap, but he definitely started on the pole and won. So.
Well, you can interpret that however you want. Let's just say he led every lap. Leads for it's better story, I guess.
He led every lap I watched, I'll say that.
Yeah.
This was also the race that was crowning the ARCA East champion, and Isaac Kitzmiller won, and then FS1 did not interview or acknowledge him, so good job.
Well, they probably didn't know who he was either. But congratulations, buddy. I'm proud of you.
After that was the truck race, which I did watch, and this was fine. I mean, I can't remember a whole lot about it. I mean, I had it on, and I know Lane Riggs won, which I was kind of expecting.
He also spun himself on lap 1, so...
He did. I somehow I missed that.
Yeah, I'm sure Andy Newsom was not thrilled that Lane Riggs won the race. So condolences.
I forget he hates Lane Riggs.
Yeah. It's a reverse Denny Hamlin.
Chandler Smith had more issues. He had electrical issues early in the race that took him out. So it's 2 weeks in a row. So I think he's at the bottom of the truck standings right now, which that's great.
Yeah. Well, that sucks for him.
just him.
Not a Chandler Smith fan at all, so I'm having a hard time finding any sympathy there. But yeah.
Jake Garcia won stage 1 and then lost power steering and had a shitty day. So I think he's below the cutoff line too.
Damn. That's that, huh?
That's about it. The broadcast didn't show this, but I did see an interview with Bailey Curry after the race saying that Corey LaJoie spun him for 9th place on the last lap. So I think he was a little upset.
They didn't show that. I don't remember seeing that, but I did remember hearing that happened. So
That's Fox.
and that's Corey LaJoie.
I didn't. Yeah, some things never change. I didn't watch hardly any of this one. I meant to get down to my folks' basement and watch all of this stuff, but they had some folks over on. This is Thursday night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had some folks over, and we ended up getting along so well that I didn't watch a goddamn second of racing all night. So kind of a bummer. But I will say this: the husband of the couple that came over, apparently, from 1996 to about 2007 or 8, did all the digital marketing and graphic design for Texas Motor Speedway.
Oh, nice.
So we sat around and talked about some of his stories and some of the shit he designed, and a couple of things from him that I thought was cool. The kart race where they had to cancel it because everyone was passing out because the speeds were too high. He says that's the program for that he made was the best work he ever did, but it never got printed, which is a shame. And one time he had to fill in as an escort for Dale Jr. walking from his hauler to pit road for qualifying. And he ended up getting some bruises from that because the fans were so aggressive.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Nice guy. I'd say it was worth missing a truck race.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a very valid reason for missing.
But yeah, it's funny how that stuff will pop up in places you don't expect. And my parents' dining room was certainly not a place I'd be talking. Figured I'd be talking about Dale Jr. and Tony Stewart with. So.
Yeah. Well, that's neat.
Yeah.
Shout out to whatever his name is.
Talking for hours for guys.
That's me in a nutshell. I will be your best friend, but it's going to take a month for me to even know what your name is. So.
You're going to have to wear a name tag.
Exactly.
You start handing them the little name tag stickers. Say, hey, can you fill this out for me?
Yeah, put this on. I need this. But I did watch racing on Friday night, and I thought this was pretty good. Before we move on to that, I saw the foam party happen again, or was that reruns of last year's footage of Bob Cocker?
It happens every year.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of my friends went, but of course Bob Puckhurst was there. It's his favorite annual event. So
yeah, can't miss. So, yeah, I saw a video of him bopping around in the foam and just being wetter than normal.
Wet.
So wet.
Wet and soapy.
In a flannel, which is certainly a choice to make. But you do you, Bob. You look good out there. Appreciate it. Yeah, I thought the Xfinity race was good. I think we all expected that to probably be the best show of the weekend. I mean, given what we've seen from Cup races recently, I guess that's kind of the expectation, that this is probably going to be the number one show. And up until, I'd say, we actually saw Saturday, that would be the truth. Granted, I watched 5 minutes of racing before that, so maybe I'm the wrong person to ask. What'd you guys think?
It was a good race. Yeah, I mean, it's what you expect, and it's the closest thing to old Bristol that we're going to get out of all the series at this point. So,
yeah.
It was good. Obviously, once again, lost money on Sheldon Creed. Lost another 30 cents. If he had like another lap or two, he probably would have gotten it.
Probably so.
He had the tire advantage and he was fast enough, but he tried his best in the last turn to take a swing at Almirola, but it just didn't work.
Yeah, Carson Kvapil and Justin Allgaier coming in for tires at a time when I think everyone was kind of scratching their heads at it. Maybe they thought they could tear through the field. Did I say Connor Zilic? I did say Connor Zilic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All these names run together. That's like the same 5 sets of letters in a generator, but for all these new kids. But yeah, Connor Zilic, I thought maybe he'd be able to get back up to the front, but just didn't work out that way.
He finished 5th, which was his worst finish since Mexico. A kid has had 15 straight top 5s, which ties the all-time record.
Yeah, not counting the race where Parker Kligerman won for him, but he still got credit for a win. But yeah, incredible shit. I mean, If this kid misses the playoffs or the next round of the playoffs for any reason, or doesn't get to the championship race and win,
Burn it to the ground.
we can burn the whole thing to the ground.
He could still lose the championship, though.
Oh, he
so
could, yeah.
We'll see how that
We had
goes.
Sammy Smith blow engine on lap 55, so he's at the bottom of the playoff standings
Yep.
right now.
That's no disappointment. That's fine.
I feel like I'm
One
forgetting
little thing
something.
that bothered me, and it probably only bothers me, but I've only noticed it the past 2 weeks, so maybe it's been going on longer than this. But Adam Alexander is trying his damnedest to make CZ a thing for Connor Zilic, and he says it like 20 times a race, and
I totally missed that because I was curious about that note you made, but I'll have to listen for that this weekend or no, next week.
He is trying pretty hard.
he's trying.
A little
I don't like it.
little note from Lee Diffie's playbook trying to make Hurricane Hocevar happen, which I don't think.
CZ is not even a good nickname.
No.
It doesn't roll off the tongue very
No,
well.
it's initials.
It's his name.
Fucking nickname. It's literally his name. No, I will not support that either.
And then we had Butterbean make his Xfinity debut. He started 28th and finished 20th, so not terrible
Not too bad.
for a debut.
Yeah.
I don't remember him getting any incidents or anything, so that's a good sign.
I do want to share that my troubles with watching races on the CW continued in the state of Arkansas. I went down to my parents' TV and reset their antenna, and they only get 2 Western channels and then ABC in Northwest Arkansas. So I had to illegally stream that on my television, which when I told my mom what I was doing, it made her very nervous.
Police are going to show up
Can't
any
you get in
second.
trouble for that? And I was like, probably not. Literally every TV in the U.S. is supposed to have this, so I think we'll be
Yeah.
fine.
As someone who's streamed a lot of sports and other things illegally and has not gotten in trouble for it, I think you're fine.
Yeah. Now Spotify AI is going to rat us out and fucking whoever the fuck, the TSA, I don't know, they're going to come by and arrest us, but... Yeah, that is yet another race where I wasn't able to watch it from the comfort of an antenna. I don't know why I've been cursed with this.
Let's see. Moving on to Sunday. You're gonna have to explain this first note, Chulov, because I don't know what the hell you're talking
So
about.
starting off Sunday, before we get to the race, I just want to congratulate my friends Chris and Megan. They got engaged at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Oh, that's exciting.
Chris works at the Hendrick, like the car dealership, and so he got passes, and like both their parents were there, and he did it in Victory Lane at Bristol early Sunday with the help of Myatt Snyder. So,
Oh,
and ran into Chase Elliott, and he was one of the first people that they told. So congratulations to them.
that's awesome. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my note.
Yeah,
And then we had the pre-race intro
those
songs.
really, I'll say not a lot of great ones this year, I didn't think.
Oh, they're all almost all dog shit.
Yeah, I mean, the clear standout here has got to be Denny Hamlin coming out to the Law and Order theme song.
100%.
What was interesting about that is they kind of debated that on his show, where, like, Denny obviously liked it, and you know, it was his choice, but the guys brought up there are probably some other songs that would have been just as prudent as far as like Law and Order type stuff that would have been better for the crowd. But I mean, yeah, I think it was great
I
and
fought
hilarious.
the law. I told my wife about that, and she was like, "Wait, which version was it? The one from the sex offender version of Law and Order?" And so that we had to go down a wormhole and figure it out. It actually was the original Law and Order theme song. I think it was just actually the one that's on Spotify, which is unlicensed. But it sounded more like the original Law and Order and not Special Victims Unit, which yeah. Don't need to elaborate there.
I did think it was funny. So Eric Jones's wife tweeted out Eric's gonna hate my song or something to that effect. And the song he came out to was "We Bring the Boom" by AJ and Big Justice, which I got a kick out of that.
Austin Cindric came out to SpongeBob singing "Goofy Goober Rock." Seems very Austin Cindric.
Yep.
And he even said on the mic, "I'm a goofy goober." Apparently, he's done that a few times. So I guess that's his thing at Bristol. So
Yeah.
And Christopher Bell came out to the middle-aged female anthem Bon Jovi, "It's My Life." So
You missed that one.
classic C-Bell.
you know,
That's probably.
I was saying I was a fan of Christopher Bell, but I'm starting to lose that a little bit.
Nah, he still rips. That was just the song he heard when the first time he ever tried on a pair of pleated Hagars back at the Oklahoma City Mall, and that was playing on the
Dockers was playing.
yeah, and then his life changed forever after that.
So moving on to the race. Hold on. What is this PP comp? Oh, the tire. Yeah, that's right. The tire compound apparently smelled like piss a couple of years ago when they had that race with the tire nonsense.
That's news to me, and I was wondering what the fuck this comment was about here.
I do remember now that
I don't
Denny.
think it smelled like piss. They just thought that someone pissed in the compound, and that's why it was so bad.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
By the way, PP compound has made our notes here.
Yes. So, going into this weekend, I mean, we
What
knew
happens when you leave them to me?
we knew Goodyear was going to have this newer, softer right side tire, and nobody knew what was going to happen. And practice Friday was just as usual.
Yeah.
They didn't put down PJ1 until before. Was it before the truck race or the Xfinity race? It had to have been the Xfinity race because it would have been on the track Friday for Cup practice.
Yeah, I'm not sure when they put it down, but it was a tiny little strip at the bottom.
Which, like, when you watched the Xfinity and Cup races, at least to me, when I first turned it on, like, it looked like they're almost running on the apron because they just put it in the lowest groove there.
Yeah, it was like maybe a foot wide, if that.
Yeah, and everybody prior to the race, because, the temperatures, first they were saying during the week it could be down to the high 50s Saturday night. It ended up being around like 60, 70, something like that. So, with the temperature, nobody really knew what was going to happen, but it was very clear within like 10 laps, like, oh, we're getting the tire race, because very quickly within the first 10 to 20 laps, people started pitting. It's like, okay. Which is what we got. I mean, it wasn't quite as chaotic as the one last year, because even though the guys weren't necessarily prepared, they still, like, at least
they have a notebook now.
before.
Yeah, they have a notebook for this shit, and they kind of understand what something like this is going to look like, and people kind of know how to run it. Again, this tire's not laying rubber down at all. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but
Yeah, they're just chunking,
yeah,
really.
just huge. They're building the fucking cushion up on the top side.
Hoarding feathers everywhere.
Yeah, pretty crazy shit to see, and just how quickly they drop off too. It seemed pretty instant. Like once you got down to that, it would just get bald real fast. But the first victim was Josh Berry, I think, and he didn't have a tire go down. Am I wrong about that?
No, didn't have nothing. It just, his car just caught on
No,
fire.
yeah, he had rubber in there, but there was nobody before that.
buildup.
There was nobody before him, right? He was the first.
No, he was the first fire victim.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
And,
pretty ugly, and he had to get pulled out of the car.
Yeah. There were a couple other fires. Cindric was able to get his put out. And then there are a couple minor ones where
He just
guys,
sat in there with it.
Sat in there hotboxing himself.
Well, I think he
Told
even
him to drive off.
I want to say in his post-race interview, he even said, like, I'm not getting out of this car unless I have to. Like,
Yeah.
he knew that, like, he had to be in the race, and because he was right on the cut line, so he knew he couldn't get out. I would say, it was chaotic. A lot of it was just like guys, the bottom was the fastest part, and nobody was really running any other lines. And I think a lot of the wrecks that happened were guys trying to get down in the bottom just too late. Like, for instance, the Chase Elliott one.
Yeah.
Like when you watch that a couple times, it's like, yeah, like John Hunter Nemechek hit Chase, but that's because Chase came down on him at the last possible second.
I think Denny got in the back of John Hunter Nemechek as well.
No, you can watch the replay, and Denny didn't touch John Hunter until John had
After.
already hit.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 100%.
I mean, there was definitely a hole there that Chase had plenty of time to get into. He just wasn't expecting the cars behind him in that line to be going so much faster than he was. Just the tire difference. So
It is a racing deal. It's one of those things that you can't really be mad at John Hunter, and
No, I wasn't mad at John Hunter. I was just
generally
having
angry.
it come apart.
Yeah, you as a Chase fan, you did not have a good night.
Leading up to that, I was jolly, having a great time. I was like, oh, this race rules. Chase has a great cushion. Nothing could possibly go wrong in my life. And then this happened, and I had to just come apart the rest of the race.
Yeah,
until
I mean,
Cindric caught on fire and saved my ass.
He was very close to not making it.
Yeah.
Well, it
Which
came
was
down to whether
surprising.
Bowman could win or not with that condom graphic on the side of his car.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Alex Bowman being so shitty, Chase Elliott wouldn't have been in the playoffs.
I mean, he ended up getting a top 5 out of it, but
Yeah.
I just the announcers kept bringing him up oh, he's got a real shot to win, and I don't think he ever really had a real shot to win. I
Fuck is
mean,
that
he had the
possible?
lead for a
He
second,
wasn't-
but
yeah, he wasn't great on restarts.
I mean, he was the best Hendrick car of the night, but that's not really saying much.
No, not really. Yeah,
no.
rough night for the whole gang. I don't even know what happened to Larson. He was playing fucking mahjong on his.
I think he got
Dash or
caught up.
something.
I think he got caught up in a pit stop cycle where there might have been a caution when he was already laps down, and that just kind of put him.
He did
way back.
have a penalty, a speeding penalty.
did
I'm
he?
not sure when that happened and if that was the cause of him having a rough night. But yeah, just another week
Yeah.
where his points cushion from the regular season helped him sail through to the next round, which not doesn't bode well for us Kyle Larson fans going into the next round here. Because not a lot going on there. Not totally inconsistent, getting top 10s here and there, but yeah, it's going to have to get better than that going forward. For a lot of people, in fact.
Yeah, we're still getting into the meat of the playoffs, really, and I want to say, I don't know if it was Larson himself or somebody else, but they even said, you're not really going to know how the field's going to shake out until we get into, the second and third rounds, so I guess we'll see what happens coming up.
That's what guys who have shitty first rounds say.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point.
I gotta say, though, I mean, the real star of the show so far has been Chase Briscoe.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, he's on one with a win, and I think he's been in the top 10 all 3 races.
Yep, and
this
he
round.
started almost at the back. I think he started 31st, I want to say, on Saturday. So.
Yeah, he's there, and I mean, we're going to New Hampshire next weekend, and the 19 car under James Small was always really good, or has been really good at Loudon. So I don't expect anything different out of him. I think we're going to see that again this weekend, which I'll get to see in person, which I'm looking forward to. I guess we'll get into that a little bit later, though.
Yep. But yeah, Christopher Bell got the lead with around 20 to go, and Keselowski was up there and did his best to get him at the very end, smacking the fuck out of him in the last turn, but nothing happened.
Just part of a dump attempt I have ever seen. It was so sad.
Just a nice little, just a Daytona push is what that was.
Yeah, he just
He really went for it, and it just.
And he even said he hit him harder than he wanted to, and the car just still did nothing. Which I want to say a couple of the guys like Denny and the door bumper clear guys were saying that that's the worst part of the turn to try to wreck somebody, and also Bell was probably prepared for it. I guess if you can slow down in those situations, it helps. If you know you're going to get hit like that, which is what he did, and. And then he got his 4th win of the season, and the damnedest thing happened, just like last week with Denny. As soon as he got out of the car to give his post-race interview, my feed cut out. I don't know what he said. It's fucking crazy. Totally missed it. I gotta assume he was talking about how good his team was and the tire fall off and his car was fast as Xfinity 8 Mobile, but I missed it, so I don't know what happened. So good for him.
Screaming at his team last week.
Yeah. Yep.
No, I didn't do that, but they seem to have worked it out.
Yeah. There was another instance where there's no grass to drive through at Bristol, obviously, but after the race, everyone went up and drove through the marbles to try to pick up some weight.
Interesting.
So,
All the cars over 50 pounds at this point.
and then there was a wholesome little moment where Ryan Blaney's 4-year-old nephew stole a scanner from Blaney's wife and was talking to him in the middle of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very cute.
Yeah, that was awesome. What did he say? Uncle Ryan, go win this race. Get him off the radio.
Mom!
That was
Bummed
cute.
I wasn't at this one because I suffered through the Larson race last year, and
Oh, it was great.
I have prayed to go to races like this and witness them in person. And of course, the one I don't go to is where all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that
Crowd looked pretty sparse on TV too.
Yeah, it was
compared to
not full, and
years
the
past.
ratings were just like the last couple of races. The ratings were down like 20 or 25% or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, it takes some time to build up confidence in what you're going to see at these things. And again, Bristol is hit or miss, and I think we all assumed that what we saw last spring was an anomaly, and they would never see that
Yeah.
again. And I mean, again, I think this race was exponentially better than the previous Bristol race, where tires were such a factor. I mean, you can talk about the tire wear all you want, but the racing we actually did see with everybody on the bottom getting aggressive and pushing, and it was as close to old school Bristol in the Cup Series as we've seen in a really long time. And the race was engaging. And again, I can't say I'm a big fan of how the tires just drop off instantly. But, I mean, what are you going to do? I'll take that over what we've seen at these previous races, despite the fact that people that I like have benefited from that. I'd rather see a good show than that. And I think this was a fuck of a show. And hopefully this is what we keep seeing at Bristol. Now, is Goodyear going to keep making tires that turn into khaki at the end? I don't know.
Yeah.
it
feel
seemed like that. Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just going to say, I feel like the first half of the race was absolutely chaotic, but once they figured out that, it's the PP compound again, that they kind of got their shit together, and that's when it got really good. Like, originally they were like, these tires aren't going to last 55 laps max, and at one point, Ty Gibbs stretched it out to like 78 laps on a set, so.
Yeah,
Who
also
was having a great night
Yeah.
until he wasn't.
Yeah, I was going to give him a reluctant shout out. Definitely, I think what we expected to see out of Ty Gibbs a little bit more than we have. Unfortunately, he had issues on pit road, and that kind of ruined his chances of getting his first win. But it would have been well deserved had he gotten it. And I don't think people will forget this one. And they've turned it around pretty decently over the past couple months. So I don't think this is the last we're going to see of him having good runs like that.
Zane Smith had a surprising good night, too.
Yeah, just it popped up from his usual 37th or 39th place to come say hi to the top 5.
We didn't even mention AJ got the pole, which was a big surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
It was his first pole since 2015, so.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a fun qualifying session, too. Not much to report from it, but it was definitely enjoyable.
It was weird, though, because I definitely saw... I mean, I wasn't surprised to see some drivers and crew chiefs kind of not loving the race, but I was more surprised to see fans bitch about it. And there was, like... not a huge segment, but, I mean, there definitely were people on social media that were, like...
Yeah.
Not loving it. And
I guess my question for these folks is... And look, I'm also a NASCAR hater. I come on here every week and complain about something. But seriously, what the fuck do you want?
Yeah,
Like, what do you
really.
want? Like, how is that not entertaining? Like, how is that not good, in fact? And, take the tire element out of it, which I know was the cause for why the racing was good, but isn't good racing just good racing, especially on a short track? So I don't really understand, like, where the hate comes from either. Like, that's people just trying to bitch and get clout on the internet, in my opinion. And that's a very boomer thing to say, but I just... That's how I feel. Like, again, I'm the first person to trash on some of the shit that NASCAR will do, but this is certainly not one of the ones I think you have any real right to do so, because that was a great show and honestly a great race from a purist standpoint as well, in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, that's all fair. So I guess that's Bristol for 2025, and now we're off to New Hampshire, which again we'll talk about it more a little bit later. But on to notes. There was yet another update in the 2311 Front Row versus NASCAR lawsuit, and this was the big reveal of NASCAR's Gold Codes plan, which, I guess during negotiations a couple years ago, there was definitely some chatter about teams boycotting races and things like that, and NASCAR created a plan if this were to happen where, all these other lower series teams and new teams such as Mumford and Sons would come into NASCAR and
Tim Duggar Racing's going to be out there.
The most shocking part of that long thread was seeing Mumford and Sons in there, and then I went on to have a dream about it.
Okay. Well, you're going to have to expand on that a little bit.
Well, I don't really remember much of the dream other than I think I was at a racetrack and someone was telling me, like, oh, yeah, Mumford and Sons, they're huge NASCAR fans. They're definitely buying a team. So.
Okay.
I'm really curious. Obviously, there's not details on how it would work, but I'm curious if this came up like a weekend in advance, like how NASCAR would actually put these into effect. Like, obviously, there's not going to be new teams popping in, but like, where are they getting these cars from? If they are replacing them, like, are they repoing shit from teams that are boycotting? Like, because there's only so many next-gen cars, and they technically are the property of NASCAR, so I don't really understand how
Which
this
I think
would work.
it's a forgotten detail, I think, in a lot of this, too, that, the teams don't actually even own their fucking cars, which is crazy.
This seems to detail a plan that would take 18 months to kind of get together.
Yeah, I mean, we not to say we remember, but I mean, you can think back to the one time there was a boycott in Talladega, and you had Bill France starting a car, and you had, fucking cars from like 3 different series out there. So
which they did detail in this is that they would mix Cup and Xfinity and ARCA.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if these plans have been around for the whole time. I mean, obviously, there's no reason for. Well, that's not true, but like in this context, there's no reason for a boycott until the charters came in. But you got to wonder if they had some sort of contingency plan in case something prevented the regular teams from being there. So I'm just curious if this is brand new or if this is just an adaptation on something that's been around for a while. By the way, Project Gold Codes will be the name of the podcast once Applebee's does find out about us and sue us. That's pretty good.
We're on season 3 now. I feel like we're safe. I'm not really too worried
Probably
about that.
so, but just in case, I thought that was a real bitchin' name for this podcast.
Till NASCAR sees us.
Till NASCAR sees us, and then they'll probably sue us faster.
But
They stay on top of it. Also, there's a floor plan for a shop that had all the OEMs under one roof, and they didn't list the names of the OEMs, but they had 5 sections, so.
Well, I mean, Honda's been rumored for a while, and, Dodge obviously is probably going to be there in the next couple of years. So, those are 2 pretty valid guesses for who those brands could be. So, just more fuel to the team's lawsuit, I feel like. It's more fuel for their case. So, we'll see what happens these next couple months before the actual trial starts, I guess. But
but I definitely need to see details on what they were thinking they were going to do. That's for sure. Because I know that got mentioned, and I think we talked about it 2 weeks ago when this all first started coming out from the all the fallout from that hearing they had, and I think we were all really curious to what these were. And honestly, not that interesting. And again, other than the fact that if it happened, and just to see them cobble together a fucking series. And let me ask you this, like, before we move on, not to spend too much time on this, but like, as a race fan, if you had tickets to go to Echo Park Speedway, True Love, to go see
What? Where is that?
To go see the NASCAR Cup Series, and they've got Mumford and Sons with fucking with Bobby Dale Earnhardt out there as the main event. Would you still go?
Oh, wow.
Would you?
Main event.
Yeah. Like, would you feel ripped off as a fan? Because, like, I'll be honest, I would
probably want my money back.
Yeah. Outside of the novelty of it, I would definitely.
Right, the novelty, yeah.
I would go, but I wouldn't be happy about it.
Yeah, I would.
Just to say I went.
Yeah.
I'd request a refund on my tickets and then go and buy the cheapest possible tickets on StubHub and go.
Yeah, that's a good move.
That's what I would do. Because, yeah, I mean, that would be a moment in history I feel like I'd want to witness for sure, even though I'm sure it'd be a total
Sold out.
clusterfuck. Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't come to that, though.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I didn't hear anything about NASCAR hiring a new ad agency, so
They did.
you'll have to fill me in on this.
Yeah, apparently they are trying to, these are quotes from it, rekindle their rebellious American spirit. They want to boost cultural relevance while holding on to big-time loyalists. We don't have an awareness problem, just a perception problem. So they hired this company called 72 and Sunny, who are based out of Los Angeles. And their big clients consist of CarMax and Panera Bread. So
Okay.
Two
all
other
right,
brands
well.
that could totally embody the rugged American spirit of times past.
Yep. So they want to focus on rebellious, unapologetic roots, bootlegger history, and they're going to debut it 2026 at the Daytona 500.
I mean, that's not a bad move. We'll just see if these fucking California nerds can pull it off.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. CarMax, they do the Car Fox ads, I think, now, which are
bad boy.
not the worst ads, but I don't know.
I mean, if you look at what's been successful in the NASCAR space media-wise recently, like the Dale documentary that Dirty Mo put together, and the content that they put out, I feel like that is kind of probably a big motivator because that was so successful and actually did reach across into a bunch of different places that normal NASCAR marketing probably wouldn't. So I would expect to see, this is just from my chair anyway, I would expect to see a lot more that kind of mimics what we saw out of that documentary. Because everything else isn't working in that way, but that crossed boundaries in a huge way, and I think that's probably the vibe they're going for. And if that is what they're trying to copy and build off of, then I'm here for it. Hopefully they pull it off.
I'm not sure if they're going that direction or if they're going to just lean more into like the Cletus do it for Dale demographic. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well, they'll get both with one of those, I'll tell you that.
Does Panera Bread have soup bowls? Is that who has soup bowls?
Yeah, they got the bread bowls, the
Okay,
broccoli
well,
cheddar
maybe-
soup. And they had
So get some
that
bread bowls at the track.
that caffeinated iced tea that was sending people to the hospital.
That's right. Death of the
So maybe
lemonade.
these people are exactly who we're looking for. Oh, what's this about the award ceremonies in Phoenix now, right?
Yeah, they just
they're-
they pushed it back to it's just going to be 2 days after the season finale, which makes sense. I mean, everybody's out there anyways. Just get it over with and then let go people enjoy their 2 months off before they start doing everything again. So
Yeah.
I guess it kind of bums me out that it used to be this like big to do that like was legitimate and fancy and a real big event, and
Yeah.
now it's just a Tuesday in Scottsdale.
yeah, it's fair.
Maybe the 47 and Cloudy folks, or whatever their name was, can spice that up a little bit. Yeah, I agree. I never watched the banquet. I mean, obviously I see all the clips and everything, and we do talk about it on the show, but that's not appointment viewing for me. But I do agree with you, True Love. It does kind of suck that it doesn't have the prestige. I mean, there's something about those 80s and 90s videos of the teams going to New York, being at the Waldorf Astoria, and it just felt fitting for the enormity of what all these guys just accomplished. And
Yeah.
this doesn't. It hasn't for a while. Like, I thought the Nashville thing was cool, but it's still, I don't know. That was probably the last time they kind of got it right. And just doing it in Charlotte is, for whatever reason, it just lacks that pizzazz, I guess, for lack of a much better word. Pizzazz is what my brain threw out there. So
They used to include all the playoff drivers in it too, and this year they're just cutting it down to the champion 4 that are invited. So
yeah,
seems like a real quick in and out.
yeah. But I guess it's not for us
Your
anyway.
Champion is decided by one race. then
Yeah.
Who cares anyway?
Exactly. But yeah, again, it's for the teams and drivers anyway. So and I guess I'm sure they're basing it off ratings as well. And there's not many people who tune into that anyway, so I would imagine that probably.
They
is
only put it on the NASCAR Tubi channel. So.
Yeah.
Well,
Fair
speaking
enough.
Speaking of the playoffs, though, we got some more potential details about next year. Sounds like along with going to a 4-race final round, they might expand the field to 6 drivers instead of 4, which I don't hate. I think I don't know if I don't really care, but I don't think it's horrible.
36 driver field.
Yeah, I know.
One round.
We can let everybody else argue about that bullshit, but I mean, whatever. It's still a step in the right direction. I don't know. I guess we just kind of have to deal with it as fans until they get their heads out of their asses.
Yeah.
But I did think it was interesting that Jeff Burton, who is an NBC employee on Door Bumper Clear this week, talked about how everybody thinks the TV networks are the ones who want the playoffs, but he's like, I've been in those meetings, and it's not TV that makes that decision. So I did think that was an interesting little tidbit that he threw out there.
Yeah, but they obviously have influence.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
yeah.
he said as much, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's still not TV's decision. Like, they're not the ones pushing for this.
Yeah,
so.
NBC's not telling NASCAR what to do, like some people
Yeah.
make it out to be. That's for sure. I was thinking about this, and not to get into the playoff discussion, because that's just what I think we're all tired of it. I think I wouldn't mind what we have now if it was just 2 drivers for the final. You know what I mean? Like an actual championship.
Head to head.
Yeah, the season's wound down to the end, and now you've got fucking whoever, and those are the last 2 guys. Kyle Larson and Ryan Preece just going at it,
I hate this more by the second.
Yeah. I don't know, because I did listen to that Door Bumper Clear episode, and they were talking about how other sports do that, and I don't know why my brain had never clicked on this, but I think the reason why the championship round annoys me so much is because, and that comparison annoys me so much, is because there's no other sport that has 4 teams in their final. It's always head to head.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Take that NASCAR and run with it, and we'll see the 5 drivers across 6 races or whatever it is. But I agree, it's a step in the right direction. I think that'll definitely make things a little bit more fair, and I think people will accept a champion a little bit more if there's more of a body of work to build off of. So I'm fine with it, I guess. I'm curious to see what it actually ends up being.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll know in the next month or so, because they're going to have to announce that sooner than later.
Yeah.
True Love, what did Carson Hocevar and Justin Haley do to you?
This is just a big old nothing burger. It really was just me being annoyed at whippersnappers. Spire on their Instagram had posted a story asking Hocevar and Haley to give them hints about their Bristol walkout song, and it was just revealed in that video that NASCAR drivers are just the dumbest fucking people on the entire planet. Hocevar was asked to give the first 3 words of the chorus, and he said, I don't know what a chorus is. He said, isn't that a group of people that, like, sing in the background? And then Justin Haley...
Well, he's not wrong, but...
Well, he's not wrong, but he's also...
not right.
An idiot. And then Justin Haley goes, I think it's all a chorus? He said, there's some words in there. I don't really listen to music for the words. I just listen for the tune, the tone, the tune, the non-words, the instruments, and it just made me want to jump off a cliff. That, like, this is what's wrong with people, the world today, is that people don't listen to the lyrics. Like, do you not have a soul or any emotions? Like, it just blew my mind. So
yeah, well, race car drivers have one-track minds. So.
Hocevar's song was the Ride the Dente theme, and then Justin Haley's was some, like, electronic pop song about monsters and angels. So
yeah, maybe it's a good thing he doesn't listen to the lyrics.
Yeah, it just made me pop a blood vessel.
Yeah, let's keep them off camera.
Let's see here. Speaking of music, though, there was a surprising clip that popped up with Shabuzi bringing out Jeff Gordon at one of his shows in California this past weekend, and
Coachella.
Coachella, that's it. And I think they must have shook hands like 7 times in the 30-second clip.
They dapped up a record amount of time. But Shabuzi said that he grew up a NASCAR fan as a kid. And Jeff Gordon was his favorite, so that was cool.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of his, but that made me like him just a little bit more. So that was cool to hear.
Yeah.
I did really like his Dr. Pepper colored Western outfit that he was wearing.
Let's see
That's
here.
cool that Jeff Gordon was able to get out of Burning Man to get to Coachella in time for that. So good for him.
Glad Danica didn't run him over in her
Her fucking doom buggy.
On a much different note, you can win a contest to have a shitty breakfast with Ross Chastain.
It's not a contest. So
Oh, was it a contest? I thought it was a
this
contest.
is an email I got that where you can buy a ticket for the Roval to have breakfast with Ross Chastain at 9 a.m. before the Roval. And if you want the package that includes like a race ticket and the breakfast, it's $269. And if you already have a ticket and just want to add on the breakfast, it's $144 to add on the breakfast.
Oh, what the fuck do you get?
The picture
what?
of the breakfast they showed was a plate of lettuce and tomatoes. So I'm sorry, I don't care what driver it is. I'm not paying $144 to eat lettuce
I
and
hope that comes
tomatoes
with-
at 9 a.m.
Listen to
That
some
better
dude
come
talk
with a
about.
whole- It better come with a whole fucking like gift pack with a die cast and a shirt and a watermelon and everything for $140 for breakfast. Go fuck yourself.
Nope, you're getting lettuce,
Lord.
tomato, probably some biscuits and gravy on a styrofoam plate, and 2 hours of Ross Chastain talking about watermelon farming. So
Yep.
line up,
But
folks.
get real up close and personal with a true psychopath. Maybe you can ask him how many bodies he has buried in the watermelon patch, because I bet he does.
There's at least one.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the Dirty Mo Media came out with yet another podcast, and this is one that I know True Love already checked out. It's called Rare Breeds, and it's hosted by Carson Eldridge and I think Mikey Waltrip's daughter.
Yeah,
and the
Caitlin
2
Waltrip.
clips I saw were like them just talking about dating. So
Yep.
True Love, let's hear your report on this.
Well, Brian was dying to know. He asked me to do a full report.
He did.
So it's just the two of them sitting on a couch on complete opposite sides, about 20 feet apart, and they're chugging wine the entire time. Meanwhile, I guess Alex Timms is the producer or whatever. They've got him sitting across the room on a beanbag on the floor. But yeah, it was just them getting really shit-faced. Caitlin is Mikey's daughter that he never speaks of. He only ever talks about Macy and how much he loves Macy and how proud he is of Macy. I've never seen this girl before.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't know she existed, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
She revealed in the show that she got pregnant on a second date and ended up marrying that man, and they're still together like 14
Wow.
years later. So
I mean,
finds a way.
I don't know what to say coming from, someone who came from Mikey Waltrip's loins. I'm sure that he hit on one of her friends at one point, and that's probably why they have a bad relationship. So,
That's a guess.
could be it. She also revealed that her husband's grandma recently passed away, but before this grandmother passed away, she was in what she thought was an online Facebook relationship with a star of a reality show on TLC, which she wouldn't reveal who it was. And then she accused Caitlin of trying to steal this man from her. And so this was what they were arguing about, like, on this grandma's deathbed. So it was mostly just them getting drunk and talking about this kind of shit. And then a whole lot of Carson talking about her never-ending situationships and how she thought that her last situationship might have had a micro penis because he refused to sleep with her. So
okay, all right.
Hell of a debut.
You asked for the recap, and that was the recap.
Yeah, I haven't listened to this, but the clips I've seen of it looks very Barstool.
Yeah,
like that kind of podcast.
Yeah. Which makes sense. I mean, girls in their 20s, from what I hear, what Carson gets into on the door bumper clear, I guess this kind of all adds up. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be adding it to my rotation, but it's also not for me specifically, so
yeah.
that's fine.
There's also a lot of mentions about stories from Saeed's karaoke bar, so
Yeah.
I enjoyed that part. But
I still have never gone to Saeed's.
you gotta check it off at some point.
We'll do it at the finals. We'll go to Saeed's.
Deal.
Yep. And finally, as mentioned, Rob will be in New Hampshire this weekend.
Yes.
So will Ty Dillon, whose
Yes.
car has a shrimp theme wrap.
Big old bucket of shrimp right on the
So,
side. Yeah.
Rob, I know you plan on licking his car.
Yeah, I'm
so
gonna
that
go
should be
taste
fun.
that thing. We're gonna see how good this Mother's Best or whatever it is. What is it? Sea Best? I don't fucking know.
Sea Best,
Yeah, we're gonna go lick the side of his car and see what's going on. True Love asked that I bring him a little thing of butter as a I don't know, a gift, I suppose. He won't know what to
pour
do
it.
with it. But that's right. I'm going to be in Loudon this weekend. I wasn't planning on going to the Cup race, but a pit pass managed to fall in my lap. I won't say where it came from, but thank you very much. I was actually requested not to share who it came from because this person doesn't want to become the fucking ticket office, and that's a quote. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've never had a pit pass at a Cup race before, so I'm very much looking forward to that. But I'll be up there on Friday night for the dirt duels at the dirt track and watch a little truck practice. Also, a friend of the program on Instagram, Tattered Checkers. He's spotting for a truck this weekend. I guess we're going to try and link up and have a couple beers on Friday night. And then I'll watch him go to work on Saturday morning. By the way, the modifieds, I think I said this last week, the modified tour's running at 9 a.m. for reasons I have
crazy.
no fucking... Well, they last year they moved the race up to like 10 or 9:30 because of weather. And they still drew a big crowd, so unfortunately NASCAR decided that was probably a good idea to get everything in for TV. And
They're gonna have a lettuce and tomato breakfast. or
yeah,
anything?
yeah. I don't think I'll be hitting the Ross Chastain buffet this time, but I will apparently get to see Tim Duggar on Sunday against my will.
Thank God it's finally happening.
Also, this is a very serious request for the listeners out there. I have a parking plan for Friday night because I'm going to get drunk and stay in my Jeep since I don't want to drive back to Worcester. But they don't allow overnight parking pretty much anywhere on the facility. I've got a couple of ideas, but if anyone listening has advice on where to do this in the Loudon area, please let me know. This is not a joke. I very seriously would like to know where I can sleep in my Jeep and walk back to it from the racetrack if possible. So go ahead and fire that information my way. RobMotes_unofficial on Instagram, or just hit up the Meet Me at Applebees Instagram, and help me get drunk on Friday night so I don't have to drive 2 hours. But yeah, looking forward to it. Come say what's up.
Yeah, with that, it's time for the DARF of the week. Who found this? Because I didn't find it.
That was me.
Okay.
So Daytona International Speedway posted the first round of ads for tickets, or first round of ads I've seen anyway, for tickets for the 2026 Daytona 500, saying you better get it now. It's a trip of a lifetime. It's going to sell out. To which our DARF of the week, a guy named Michael Norbert, says, no, they aren't. Just like lame stream to consistently lie that every race is sold out, there will never be another sold out event in NASCAR again. Which, in reference to an event that actually sold out last year.
Every year.
And just for everyone out there who doesn't understand what words mean, which seems like, judging by some of the drivers we've talked about earlier, maybe that's more widespread than we think. If tickets aren't for sale for an event, it's sold out. That's what that means. You can't buy tickets. It's sold out. It doesn't matter how full the grandstands are, which I know they took some seats out of Daytona and they've kind of made it more of a stadium kind of deal, but shit sells out. It's sold out. It sells out.
Still over 100,000 people.
It's
I
sold
think it's
out.
150.
You can't buy tickets to it after they stop selling them because they sold too many. Sell out.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
I don't trust anyone that spells Michael like this, so.
No. So that's our DARF of the week, and well, what's his punishment here? Definitely not going to Daytona, but I guess he wouldn't go anyway. Oh, I don't know. He's going to have to lick Ty Dillon's car after I do. That's gross.
All right, well, with that, now it's time to dive into the septic tank. And I know that the tank is not that deep this week, so.
No, there was plenty of racing this weekend, but again, I was with family out in Arkansas, and different things came up to where I wasn't able to watch a whole lot. There's only one TV in the basement, and it was easier just to watch NASCAR. Besides, I love Bristol. I'm always going to give it a chance, and that's kind of what I kept it on. But I did get to watch a little bit of racing. Jonathan Davenport picked up a big win at Bulls Gap in the Flow Racing Night of America series. I don't think I wanted to see that, but Bulls Gap is fucking badass, and that's always worth your time anytime that's on television. I guess there was a little altercation, not after the late model race, but in one of the other divisions. I think it was street stocks, but they disqualified an out-of-towner. And the cops got involved, so I'll try and find a clip of that and post it on the internet. Lucas Oil had the weekend off, but World of Outlaws was down your neck of the woods, actually, True Love. Nick Hoffman picked up a big win at Needmore, and then Ashton Winger picked up a win at Sonoya, which I believe is probably the closest notable dirt track to you.
It's the closest doozy.
Nick Hoffman,
big series through it, so.
Nick Hoffman still doing his best to eat into Bobby Pierce's points lead, and I will look forward to watching that lead shrink as much as it can. Bobby Pierce definitely still the odds-on favorite to win the World of Outlaws title this year, which it is what it is. In sprint cars, High Limit was out at Lernerville. Tanner Thorson picked up a win on Friday night. I was very fucking excited about that. And then Dason Pursley picking up his first, I believe it was his first major 410 win period. I'm a big Dason Pursley fan. I'm a big Tanner Thorson fan as well. So it was a good weekend for Robbie's boys, I guess, in sprint car racing. I didn't watch any World of Outlaws shit, but I did watch a little High Limit, and that's
Michael
what I
Scott's
saw.
Tots.
Scott's Tots.
Robbie's boys.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. I'm holding my own breakfast at Loudon, so you can come on by. A couple of random notes. Again, I was at my parents' house last weekend, so I couldn't really. It was a little difficult to be unfiltered when I knew my parents were in the next room. I went into depth in that on the last episode, but definitely a couple things I forgot to mention as a result, because I was a little frazzled about saying the F word and talking about drinking moonshine in front of my parents. Mm-hmm. But I did forget one really important point that I wanted to make sure I brought up regarding the St. Henry nightclub. Of course, legendary little bar with its own breakfast buffet, which is only $10, by the way. Yeah, it was fucking delicious. But yeah, the breakfast is good, but the shitter there is it is Spartan, to put it kindly. There's no door on the shitter, and there's no lock, and there's no lock on the door. Yeah. So, and there are urinals, so there's a lot of traffic that can come through there. And I think the toilet was broken when I was there. The picture I sent you guys omitted the really nasty bits that were clearly visible if you were to move a few inches to the left. But yeah, that was enough to make you hold it until you got to the Dollar General. Not to give you too much personal insight into my life, but yeah, I walked in there in need of relief, and I chose to put that off for a later date. We'll post the photo, and I'd like to know if you guys would be ballsy enough to use this circle of hell as intended. But yeah,
yes, please comment below.
Yes, so my word of advice, don't take a shit at the St. Henry nightclub. I didn't go to the women's room. Maybe it's a little different. Maybe they were kind enough to give the ladies a door, but yeah, if you kind of feel like you're in jail when you're in there, so actually that's exactly what it felt like, was jail. Yeah, great place. Don't take a shit there. Speaking of non-ideal situations, Jacksonville Speedway this weekend, of course, pretty big dirt track with the 410 program that airs on Dirt Vision pretty much every Saturday night. Most of you listening to this have probably seen the clip already, but there was an accident on the front stretch at the exact same time as somebody cut a tire down going into turn 2. The entirety of the track team was turned around, watching to make sure that this car had made it into the pits. But as this was happening, again, a car had fucking biked it and flipped on the front stretch. who was that? It was Kevin Newton who flipped, and they just let that fucker run green for 3 or 4 laps with a car just jammed into the earth right in front of the flag stand, which, by the way, is it's in the infield. It's not in the grandstand, so it's probably why these guys missed it, because all the track officials were turned around. But the only person who did see it, other than the fans in the stands who were having to come apart about it, was the announcer, who just started screaming, "We got a car flipped on the front stretch. What the hell are you guys doing? Pay attention. Put the red out. Come on, what are we doing here?" And it's just, on Dirt Vision. So every motherfucker in the country is screen grabbing this. And yeah, that was really bad. That was like some 1960s shit right there. Anyway, the track, they did post a lengthy apology today, and they promised to do better because, of course, that's what you do, and you almost kill a driver. Everyone made it out of that okay, but yeah, that was really, really bad.
Yeah. That was the all-time come apart from the announcer.
Yes.
Classic.
More drama with Dirt Vision, although this doesn't directly involve them anymore. Favorite online moron, Racing Jason, who we talked about last week, after having a complete and total meltdown talking about like Desert Storm and shit after Charlie Kirk got shot.
Of course.
I don't even know what he was saying, but he had a rant. He probably had a few beers, and it is what it is. But today he gave us some great news regarding a former Flow Racing and Dirt Vision drone operator. So if you're watching Dirt Vision and Flow 3 years ago, the guy who was doing all those cool following shots of the cars, well, he's gonna go to jail now because apparently they were calling him bomb threats and calls about active shooters to different businesses all throughout their town. They traced it back. It turns out it was this kid. I won't say his name just because I think I cropped it out of the photo here. But Dirt Vision did clarify he has not worked with them for 3 years. So their drone pilot is safe and not calling him bomb threats to schools and businesses, which is probably a good look for the company.
This one kid in the picture definitely looks like Jeffrey Dahmer, so...
Yeah, so don't do that. This is definitely way worse than Ryan Blaney's nephew getting on the radio and saying hi. And that's unacceptable as well. So don't call in bomb threats. And boy, the hits just keep on coming for Dirt Vision tonight at Millbridge. Kyle Larson's daughter, Audrey Larson, I think she won a feature. I didn't actually see this. This was passed along from some friends. But apparently she gave a big shout out to Flow Racing, who is her sponsor on Dirt Vision. And if you know anything about that drama, you gotta love that. So congrats, Audrey. I think she probably won a box stock race or something like that. But yeah, that's cool shit. And that was very, very funny to hear. I'm going to try and clip that as well.
Please do.
Coming up this weekend, we do have some big races. I don't know how much of it I'm going to get to watch, except for the 4 Crown at Eldora, because that starts on Wednesday night and goes through the weekend. Of course, High Limit, USAC, Silver Crown, everybody's going to be there. We're going to see just who can try and match the records of Kyle Larson and Jack Hewitt by trying to sweep the weekend. I don't know if anyone's a real clear favorite, but if Justin Grant's on the property, I don't think he's running a 410 though, so I don't think it's possible. But I believe Jason Persley's trying everything. I bet you Tanner Thorson probably is too. I haven't seen the entry list, but it'll be cool to see that. And that event is badass, and it's on Flow Racing. I recommend you watch it. Also on Flow Racing this weekend, the Knoxville Late Model Nationals are happening. Getting down to the end of the season there. Knoxville doesn't always put on the greatest racing, but it is part of the chase for the championship, so definitely worth tuning in to see. Obviously, the big battle is between Ricky Thornton Jr. and Jonathan Davenport, and I think it'll probably stay that way through the end of the year. The favorite's probably Ricky Thornton Jr. now that he won Eldora and seemed to have shaken that monkey off his back, but we shall see as we enter the final 7 races of the year. And also, the big race I'll be watching, of course, is the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour at Loudon. Very excited about that, even though it's before the sun comes up mentally. Doug Coby is the big star entering this race. Of course, coming back and driving for Tommy Baldwin in the 7NY. That's pretty cool. I think Doug said this would be the 40th year in a row of his life where he's raced in something competitively, which is pretty fucking crazy because he's not that much older than me. So... Yeah, but Doug Coby, of course, 4-time Modified Tour champion and one of the best to ever do it. Always cool to see him come back out. And the 7NY is a pretty fast hot rod, so I think he'll be a factor. And
the famous SRX driver.
Yes,
Doug
famous
Coby.
SRX winner, Doug Coby, the inaugural winner, which I was in person to see that. And boy, Stafford lit up when that happened. So, yeah, now that he's not winning championships every year, I think he's kind of won the people back. So excited to see Doug out there and all the other stars and cars of the NASCAR Wheel of Modified Tour as well. Racing hungover as shit, I assume, after a Friday night at Loudon. And by the way, that's also on Flow Racing. So make sure you get your breakfast together, your tomatoes and whatever the fuck that didn't cost $180, and flip on your TVs bright and early. You're going to see the best show of the weekend at 9 a.m. on Flow Racing. There's no question about that. But that's the short track septic tank for this week. Like I said, I'll be at Loudon all weekend. Come holler at me. I will be there Friday night. I'm probably going home after Saturday, after the truck race on Saturday. Maybe I'll stick around for qualifying. And then I'll be hanging out down in the infield on Sunday. So if anybody listening happens to be there, come say what's up. I'd love to hang out with you. Let's flush this thing down, and then, boy, we've got a treat for you guys this week in the video of the week.
One sec, hold on.
Flushes way better than the St. Henry's toilet.
Well, that one didn't flush, I can tell you that. So.
All right, so yeah, video of the week this week. I picked a fun one. So
Fun's a word for it.
it was fun. Come on, it was fun.
You picked a video.
Yeah, I picked a video. So
No, I
you know,
enjoyed
as-
the hell out of this. I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
So-
It was great.
Yeah, as I mentioned last week on the show, so by the time monster trucks hit the 90s, it was pretty well known that this was kind of a sport that appealed more to kids and families than like real motorsports enthusiasts. And that, you know, there was the Monster Wars show that was on in 1993 that had like these cartoon / wrestling type vignettes and was really done up more. It was on syndication in the morning. Like, it was on before Saturday morning cartoons in my town growing up. So that tells you, you know, that's where it was being broadcast, who it was for. But in saying that, you know, monster trucks have always still had an adult crowd to them, and for whatever reason in the year 2000, there was a push to create a monster truck show with somewhat of an adult theme to it. And that led to the one-time only broadcast of Monster Trucks 2000, the new Thrillennium, on the UPN network. And
Which is amazing that it was made for adults, because it still feels like it's geared towards at least older children.
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, aside from a couple little moments where it's like it gets PG-ish, it is still just really goofy and cheesy, but we're going to go through it now and talk about it. And, you know, if you haven't watched it, it is on our playlist. And you can also look up the worst monster truck show of all time if you just want a nice little 12-minute synopsis and a little more background info as to this event.
Well,
because,
I would have much rather watched that, because this did not need to be 40 minutes long.
you needed to watch the whole thing to get the whole picture. I wasn't going to just play that video because that synopsis kind of missed a lot of ridiculous shit that we saw. So.
Yeah.
This show is actually another interesting tidbit about this was at the time in 2000, so, you know, Monster Jam was really coming into its own, and it was just starting to get to the point where freestyle, you know, the events were still racing based, but freestyle was starting to become a thing. And at this point, Bigfoot had split off from Monster Jam. And there was another company called like the Monster Truck. I forget exactly what it was called, but it was like the Pro Monster Truck organization or something like that. It was supposed to be a serious racing series, and this was the first event that they produced. So not really starting off, you know, holding to what they wanted to do with this league. And you know, this league did not last. It only lasted a couple years. So if that tells you anything, it's starting off the program with this show. But it starts off seeming like a pretty basic monster truck show. We've got our main commentators, Jerry Romano and Rick Rooney. And, you know, they kind of announce, you know, the drivers. And it seems like a pretty basic show to start off with. But
Well, the intro also has the words lust, greed, agony, treachery. So
Yeah, which those are
setting the
not.
drama up.
Yeah, those are not what you would see in a normal monster truck program. But pit reporter John Heffernan had some shocking news that the Bigfoot truck was vandalized, and it showed a picture of essentially what they did was just take the body off the truck and kind of shake around the panels a bit so it looked like the truck was really fucked up. But that's what happened. So. There were 8 trucks in this field. Half of them were Bigfoot vehicles. Obviously, you had Bigfoot, you had Firestone, and the other 2...
just real quick, just Dan Runte going and finding the truck that had been smashed somehow, and just him walking back and forth and throwing sheet metal around is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
None of these guys had much when it came to acting chops. Let's just say that. But so yeah, the field of trucks. Like I said, there were 4 Bigfoot trucks. Obviously Bigfoot, and then the Firestone truck, which at this point in Bigfoot's history, they had started coming out with a lot of different bodies and different sponsors on the trucks as like the main paint scheme. They weren't just Bigfoots anymore. There was the Power Wheels Bigfoot and the Firestone Bigfoot and a handful of other ones. But then there were also Samson, Boogie Van, the Executioner, and Monster Patrol, which were all just household names in the monster truck world at that point. But then the other 2 Bigfoot fielded trucks were Scorpion and Mr. Bones, which, if you remember our Monster Trucks and Wrestling Racing show a few weeks ago, Mr. Bones was actually the Dungeon of Doom truck. What happened was, and also Scorpion used to be the Sting truck. So Bigfoot originally fielded the WCW Monster Truck trucks for Monster Jam, but after Bigfoot left Monster Jam, WCW took their licenses to other trucks. Like what became Max D originally was the Goldberg truck, for instance. But Mr. Bones was originally the Dungeon of Doom truck, and Scorpion was Sting. So those are the 8 trucks in the field, and the storyline goes Bigfoot was out because of the vandalization, and Scorpion was set to get a bye run. Round 1, this is pretty much a standard setup with Bigfoot, the Firestone Bigfoot and Executioner. You've got Stained as the soundtrack to this, and then they show...
it is the new Thrillinium, after all.
Yeah, they show the Flag Girl, and they go, check out the twin cams on... And then the guy kind of pauses for a second, then it goes Firestone, like they're clearly looking at the woman saying that. So, nice little sexual innuendo there. This is like a big, weird, long, like, S-course, and I think they did this at the Mesa Marin Speedway in Arizona.
I think so.
I think that's where they did it. And I have to imagine the racing was scripted. I mean, it makes sense for the storyline, but I mean, it seems like regular monster truck racing. It doesn't seem too out of the ordinary. Round 1, the Firestone truck wins. Then we see another clip of Dan Runte and his girlfriend Dusty, and then Dusty's sister Blanche.
His other girlfriend Blanche.
We can't really. I mean, they never explicitly say that there's some weird throuple thing going on here. But
I think he's banging them both.
It doesn't really make sense that the sister's there, and she's kind of like annoyed to be there, but yet at the same time, like she's hanging over Dan the entire time, and it's just it doesn't make a whole lot of fucking sense. But it's pretty funny. And
well, there is evidence to support the throuple theory a little later on in the episode.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, with that mullet, can you blame him?
No, absolutely not.
The announcers scold the whoever did this to Dan's truck, and they bring up the analogy that imagine if this happened to Jeff Gordon or Dale Jarrett's car before the Daytona 500. So, nice little NASCAR tie-in there.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if somebody ran over Jeff Gordon's car with a monster truck.
We get a brief interview with the Executioner and Firestone drivers, Mark Hall and Eric Tack, and they know nothing, and they don't seem to be very upset by what's going on either. Just like, yeah, we don't know. It's
Also, they say Mark Hall's a former BMX racer. So.
They do mention that.
Brian tie-in.
Yeah, well, there were a few. There was another Bigfoot driver named John Pyant who was like a BMX racing, I forget which pro teams he rode for in the 80s, but when I worked in BMX, I had one coworker that said he used to race with him back in the day, so that was interesting.
There's a decent crossover between between racing and BMX, it seems.
Yeah, a little bit. We then, another reporter, Jennifer Goodwin, introduces us to Big Daddy and Itty Bitty, who are the owners of the Scorpion and Mr. Bones.
Now, this is the Thrillinium content I'm here for. Yeah.
We see the guy, Big Daddy, he looks a lot like the My Pillow guy. Like, a lot like the Mike Pillow guy. And then just this, little dwarf next to him that's...
And a Kangol hat.
Yeah. And then we also meet Vicky Voom, who is the owner of Monster Patrol, and she has no comment. Getting off the plane, she goes, "I came to race, not to talk." And throughout the entire episode, anytime they show her, she wants, she wants nothing to do with this reporter and doesn't want to talk about anything that's going on. At this point in the night, nobody knows where Dan Runty is.
I have an idea.
Earlier in the week, they show a little interview with Dan and the girlfriends, and Dan doesn't say anything, and they talk to Blanche, who mentions she's on like a little toe on Dan's big foot.
Yeah.
And then the announcer goes, "Sounds like a fetish."
Yep.
So.
Or fungus.
Little foreshadowing to current day, I suppose.
Here they cut to a commercial break, and then we come back to the commercial break, and there's a truck called Transaurus eating a car, which I've seen a few of those a car-eating monster truck things over the years, but I don't remember a Transaurus. I feel like that was another truck they just renamed for this, but that's neither here nor there.
I definitely remember getting to see one in person as a kid at the Georgia Dome, and it's one of my most core childhood memories.
Well, the one that you probably saw, they tried to sell on like Pawn Stars years ago for like $1 million, and I know it was on Facebook for $2 million recently. We get another instance of Vicky Voom not talking to anyone. We see Dave Harkey, who is the driver of Monster Patrol, who apparently started racing motocross at age 24, which is very old to start racing motocross, like incredibly old to start. And now apparently the kids love him, and he has maybe, I don't know if it's more glorious of a mullet than Dan Runty, but it's very pronounced. It's really he does not look like a guy that like kids would look up to. Let's just say that.
No.
And he is racing. So Monster Patrol is racing Boogie Van, who. So this is a little backstory on Boogie Van. Boogie Van was driven by. She was always known as Pam Vodders because she was married to Michael Vodders, who owned the Black Stallion trucks, and they had a team together. And I know at some point they got divorced, and I don't know if, because her name was Val in this show, and I don't know if they'd already been divorced and that was actually her real name, or if they'd changed it for this show, which we'll get to in a second, because Monster Patrol wins the race, and then afterwards they go and interview her mom, Ma Vale, who is just pissed off, and she's like, we don't have to race anymore, we're getting the fuck out of here. So that was really weird.
I really loved when Monster Patrol was taking the lead of the race. They were talking about how Dave has a sprint car wing on the back of his monster truck, but it provides no aerodynamic effect, it just looks cool.
Yeah. Which is, true, I would guess. Yeah. Trucks don't really go that fast to need aerodynamics.
And that looks more like a super modified wing to me, but I don't know. Like, yeah. Thought that was great.
It actually, I'm trying to remember, I think it did, when it was first built, have a sprint car wing on it. I'd have to go back and look, but obviously it was changed to a little more.
Well, I mean, that's an old school sprint car wing right there from the 70s, I think. But yeah, it's still just, I love that little tidbit. It does nothing. It just looks cool.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of monster trucks.
After this race, we cut to Rick Petroline and Gene Patterson, who are the drivers of Mr. Bones and Scorpion, having portraits painted of them for some reason, and like they're talking about the poses they want to be in, and like Gene Patterson's comparing himself to like Napoleon, I think, and like doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, why are they getting portraits painted? And they don't even see the portraits afterwards. You just get this annoyed artist like telling the guys to shut up.
Well, they're probably going to continue the storyline further down the road.
I'm sure we would have gotten some more exposition later down the line. So from here, the next race is Samson versus Mr. Bones. The announcer calls him two Fords, which is very incorrect. Samson has always been a Chevy. And then Mr. Bones ends up winning. And then Dan Patrick just talks about probably one of the more real moments on the show where he talks about bringing the wrong setup for his truck, which that could be true, but, who the fuck knows. Next up, though, we see Big Daddy and Itty Bitty are at the track, and they're here with a videotape. And the videotape is showing the two guys actually vandalizing the truck. They think originally it's Dan Runty because the guy's wearing the Bigfoot suit, but both of them are wearing masks or fire socks or whatever, so you can't really tell who they are. I will tell you that it was almost definitely Gene Patterson in that suit, because as someone who is a monster truck nerd and could kind of recognize him, that's who I think it actually was doing that.
My favorite part of this was how the guy in the video truck who was in charge of the tape was just sitting in the cab taking a nap.
I missed that.
Yeah.
You also missed, right before this, the announcer is trying to describe what it's like being in a truck, and he says it's like having sex and being in a car wreck at the same time.
Oh, wow, I totally missed that. That's, I don't know if that's
child-friendly.
So, in showing this video, they also bring up the fact that they claim that Dan Runty took out $1 million policy on the truck, that if he couldn't race, he would get $1 million, and that he did this on purpose. The announcer then wants to hang Dan from the TV screen.
Yeah, he calls for a public hanging.
Yeah. But then all of a sudden, here comes Bigfoot. Bigfoot's back together. He's out on the track.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss the fact that Itty Bitty's just sitting on the middle of the announcer's desk. They just prop him up there.
He can be seen there a lot easier.
That's true, yeah.
He's such a star.
But now we get the best moment of the show, where Dan shows up with his sisters, and he just, this is his quote: "Two sisters, two trucks, let's go racing." Like,
Yep.
What the fuck does that mean?
And this is my evidence that he's definitely banging them both. Right
yeah,
there.
that I would say makes it pretty clear.
That's the big reveal, folks.
Yep. So the announcers before the actual race happens, the announcers rewatch this video one more time of the truck being vandalized, and now they're doubting it was him, because, why would he put out an insurance policy and then show up and fucking race? So, okay, clearly something's happening here. Scorpion versus Bigfoot. This is another moment where I feel like, it's real, because they have this race and then Scorpion ends up rolling, which both the trucks get almost ass over tea kettle going over the finish line. Like, they both were just very nose heavy in landing, and Scorpion rolls over. At this point, Itty Bitty and Mr. Big Daddy are claiming foul play in this incident.
That's my favorite quote of the whole show.
And Itty Bitty goes, this smells stronger than a bag of garlic." Like, what a fucking stupid line. Jesus Christ. Then from here, the next round is Mr. Bones versus Monster Patrol, and of course Mr. Bones wins, because we're going to get set up the big finale here at the very end. Before their race, Big Daddy and Itty Bitty and Dan Runty and the sisters start arguing, and there is an amazing camera shot, apparently from the perspective of Itty Bitty, that is just this girl's tits shaking in the camera. That's all it is. Like, just straight up shot, like straight up tit shot, just jiggling around.
Classic UPN.
Yep. But before these two can have their battle, Bigfoot's got to beat his teammate Firestone first, which he does. And then from there, in the final round, Bigfoot falls way behind at the very beginning, but on the last straightaway, this is where the racing seems very rigged. The very last stretch of the track, Bigfoot goes and gets the victory. And there's really not a good finish to the show. Like, obviously nothing gets tied up or wrapped up with what happened to the truck. and it's just the girls screaming that Dan won, and that's pretty much the end of the show. So,
Well, it ends with a shot of Itty Bitty inside of the Firestone monster truck holding a wrench in his hand that he's waving around, and he yells, "We'll be back."
But you won't, though.
yeah, which they weren't. So yeah, I mean, I can absolutely agree that this is probably the worst monster truck show that's ever been made, and so what did you guys think? I know Rob enjoyed it because he watched it twice. So.
I did watch it twice.
I think he's watching it again right now. So
Yeah, it's on the TV right now. Yeah. Yeah, True Love, I'll let you go first.
I mean, I think we just kind of covered it all right here.
Yeah.
I would have loved to seen a spin-off series of Itty Bitty, but
Yeah,
I guess that never happened.
I don't know how much character development there was left in the tank.
Yeah. This
For
was
any of
hard to
these
sit
people.
through, but I would watch another episode if it was condensed into half an hour instead of an hour. So
Yeah, I'm almost a little sad that they didn't at least do one more. But
Yeah.
I could see why they didn't. I mean, the public hanging of Dan Runty by the Taliban would probably not be television that would have gone very far. I didn't know the Taliban actually sanctioned monster truck racing, so that was cool to hear. But yeah, it was great. I love this. It's obviously terrible, but as a fan of campy, shitty television, this is certainly checks all my boxes. You kind of alluded to this earlier, how none of these guys are actors. I can't imagine. I'd love to hear the sales pitch to these folks like Dan Runty and everybody for this show, and their lines, and just like kind of laying out what the story was going to be, and just how they had to sell it to them. Maybe they were down, maybe they weren't. We'll never know, but I would love
some of
to
the
hear.
drivers, definitely seemed very uncomfortable, and were like you could tell they were trying not to laugh, but
Yeah.
Dan seemed to embrace his role with
Yeah.
the two sisters.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty.
At
I mean,
this
that's
point-
the best character on the show, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, Dan was definitely the star of the Bigfoot team. At this point, he already set a bunch of records as far as like jumping over planes and shit, and he was pretty well known in the monster truck community. So
Yeah.
it makes sense to him being the star of the show.
Of course, yeah.
But
I would just love to kind of piggyback off what I just said. I'd love to see some notes on just the production of this in general, not just just how it came to fruition. I don't know if there's any sort of article that's ever been done on this, or if there's anything beyond the two
The
videos you've
making
talked
of
about.
documentary.
Yeah, just how this came to be and how it failed. Like there's just so much going on in the background that I would love to know about. But yeah, it's a damn shame there's not anymore. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I would watch this series in its entirety because it was. It wasn't
it's
funny
not
for the
Jersey
reasons.
Shore, but it'll do.
That's true. That's well said.
Cool. Well,
Go first next.
all right. Well, so we're going back to some fairly standard fare this time. I honestly didn't have a great idea for a video of the week this week, so I just went to my old friend NASCAR Man Archives channel and looked for something interesting. And what I found was the 1983 Nashville Grand American 100.
Cool.
It's a full broadcast of I don't know what the hell. I kind of briefly skimmed through it, and I saw like DW's in it and Sterling Marlin and a couple big name guys, and it seemed like an interesting race. And I can't say
ASA,
I've watched.
is it?
It might be ASA. I'm looking at it now. I see Mike Alexander in there. Mikey Waltrip's in there. I think it's ASA. So, yeah, something interesting. And for a 1983 broadcast, the quality is very good. So,
Really? Awesome.
yeah, that's what we're gonna watch this week. So, yeah, you guys won't be pissed off again. So,
To go back to the video, I was trying to Google the actor that played Itty Bitty to see what other roles he had, but I found this says that this show, Monster Trucks, the new Thrillennium, was co-written by one of the Howard Stern writers
which one?
with Fred Norris, with his former
Fred.
bodybuilder.
Wow.
With his former bodybuilder / model Jennifer Goodwin. as a the
Bodybuilder slash
on-site
model.
interviewer.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Wow, Fred. That's interesting. I'll have to ask some of my Howard Stern friends if they know anything about it.
Well, it checks out.
Yeah. Yeah. That is fair.
Yeah, definitely television from a simpler time, pre 9/11, just post Y2K. We got through that hurdle. Just very of the time.
Yep. So yeah. Let's see. So Rob's going to New Hampshire. I'm not doing any racing stuff this weekend. Are you doing any racing stuff, True Love?
Nope, just trying to track down Itty Bitty in his career. So
We look forward to the results next week.
Cool. Well, anything else to wrap this up with? I got nothing. So.
when are you heading up, Rob?
Friday afternoon. Yep. Yeah, we're going to a little dirt race over by the Rusty Lantern on Friday night. That's always a fun show. It's kind of a dog shit race, the track is beat up, and they only run, I'm pretty sure they run once a year there, so it's not well maintained. It ends up rutting out and getting pretty nasty pretty quick, but it's still fun. It's fun. Dirt racing's dirt racing. And the whole These Wild Plains gang is going up. Our bass player, Steve, we took his kid to Star. We talked about that a few weeks ago. And he's been begging to go to the racetrack since. So this will be his first dirt race, which I'm very excited about.
How far is Bentley Warren's bar from the track?
Oh, it's a couple hours, I think. That's up in Maine.
Yeah.
Arundel's pretty far. People do make the trek back and forth. I've still never gone to Bentley's, even though I have the sticker on my refrigerator down here. But yeah, that's definitely on the list sometime. And unfortunately, I don't think I'll be making it there this weekend.
Yeah.
Make sure you get us a full bathroom report of everywhere you go.
Well, Loudon is a trough. It's trough country. In turn 4 anyway, so I love a good trough. That's where I'll be taking a piss all weekend. But I will give a full report of my trip to Loudon. It hasn't changed in fucking 30 years, so I can't imagine anything's going to be updated.
I'm trying to think. I don't even think Knoxville still has piss troughs.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I've pissed in a trough yet this year. Now that you mention it.
Well, race fans, if you want the traditional experience, turn 4 at Loudon under the old Laconia grandstands. Is that what it's still called? I can't remember anymore because they tore a bunch of grandstands down. There's actually like this cool patio area over in turn 4. It's not the greatest view, but it's like a big grassy area with a bar and all that. That's kind of a neat place to sit where the grandstands used to be. But they kept the troughs, so a little something for the traditionalists. I guess I'm one of them. So that's enough about me pissing into a metal can. Let's close the show out.
All right, please.
A lot of toilet talk on this episode.
Well, as always, you can follow us on Instagram at meetmeatapplebees, on Twitter at meetmeatthebees. I am Speedway Screens on all the things. SpeedwayTSJ.etsy.com is the shop, and MMA Applebees at checkout for 15% off.
Please contact me at SnakeMountain_TrueLove if you can locate the actor who played Itty Bitty, because Google is not telling me anything.
It's very important. Or call our toll-free number rolling across the bottom of the screen.
That's it.
Rob
Bring
Motes.
answers.
I really want to know who this guy is too. Rob Motes _unofficial. My band's called These Wild Plains. Like I said, we're all going to be up at Loudon this weekend, at least on Friday night, and I'll be there for the duration of the weekend. I will buy you a case of beer if you let me park at your campsite on Friday night. So holler at me if you're around, because I don't want to. I want to get drunk, and I don't want to drive home. So, yeah, that's it. We'll see you this weekend for sure.
Cool. Well, as it looks like the check is here, so as always, I fucked it all up. Can't even finish out the show. Thanks for joining us again at Applebee's, and we'll talk to you all next week.